Hello casual viewers and subscribers. This is Guildford Ghost doing what Guildford Ghost doesn't usually do, i.e. actually uploading a video that he's made himself rather than an old archival TV program. Today I find myself in Gloucester, and of course with all the true crime work I do, Gloucester means only one thing to a lot of people who subscribe to the channel, and that is the crimes of Fred and Rose West. So I'm now at Midland Road, and you see it's actually right next to a major road. You get the impression it's a small residential street, but it's on this area just built up on one side. There's modern buildings on the other side of the road further down, but I'm approaching 25 Midland Road now. This is the house where the Wests moved in 1970, and in 1972, when Fred was serving 9 months in prison, his stepdaughter Charmaine disappeared. A lot of people tend to think that Charmaine was actually related to either of them in some way. She wasn't related to either of them. She was Fred's stepdaughter and no relation to Rose at all. If anything, Rose would be her stepmother, if you could say such a thing. So we're getting very close to it now. And of course you get here, and just like always is the case at murder sites, when you see it out of context, there's a cat there, when you see it out of context it looks exactly the same as anywhere else. There's bins there. Curious thing is, it says 25 open. They lived in the ground floor flat. And it's actually the back of the house there, the very end bit, just beyond where the satellite dishes are. There's actually the back kitchen. And it was on the other side of that where Charmaine's body was found in 1994. Here's another shot in context. So that's the large Gloucester Play Park over there. There's Midland Road. I'm zooming in on 25 now. Now here's a curious thing about distance. You may think that Midland Road is actually quite some distance from Cromwell Street, but I can see 25 Midland Road from here. Okay, it's on a pretty much extreme zoom lens. But we zoom back over through Gloucester Park, straight up this road here. I turn around, and there's the entrance to Cromwell Street. So I'm walking down Cromwell Street now. All these statements about it's meant to be a really rough area. Well, it's deserted at the moment, but that might be something to do with the fact that it's mid-January and utterly freezing cold. I can see the site of 25 coming up in the distance. Whoa. It feels like almost being at a film set because the other houses look similar to how it did. And so here we are. And again, it really looks completely average. Smaller than you'd think. You see it's a little unkempt. So I'm going to try and find some things that aren't usually pointed out on videos that people make. So there's lots of videos of people walking around and just saying this is where the building was. Number 25 was on this side where I am. It was 23 that was over there. That had nothing to do with the Wests. This was where 25 Cromwell Street stood. This is a line of mess sticks that's left of the what was known as the Wendy house. A little lean-to shed that Fred stuck up in the back garden. Now, I may have been trying to see if I can tap off any part of it, but it's completely adhered to the wall. Ultimately, this is referred to as all that's left of 25 Cromwell Street, is this dark line just above the fence. Likewise a remaining trace, but it's a stain more than actually anything that's really there now. So this dark line running across the wall at the Cromwell Street side, this is where the whole side extension was that Fred West built. So this is where the entrance became later on, this whole side building going from the doorway, which obviously was here, straight down in towards the back garden, which was down there. Some of you may have seen a small memorial plaque that was placed on one of the fences here. It's actually tiny. It's about 1 inch by about, not even that, about 3 inches long, no more than that. In fact, if I try to zoom in it any closer, it actually becomes blurred. You need a macro lens for it. But it is ridiculously small, but it's poignant. The Seventh-day Adventist church next door has been largely refaced. There was a window here, and although these stones are original, you can see that these ones have been replaced. Not too sure the significance of these two parts here, but this down here is exactly the spot where the hinge was of the gate, the front gate that went into number 25. So this may also be, I can't guarantee it of course, but this may also be a surviving part of the building. Now, no one's done a video showing this before. It's all been very generic, and of course forgetting the women and the girls that died. So I'm going to try and fill in some gaps here. So this is now walking straight up. The front door of 25 Cromwell Street would now be in front of me. Walking down through here, there was a bedroom here at the front. Therese Siegenthaler was found just about where I'm standing now. I have to keep checking my phone here. And then Shirley Hubbard, her body was found about here. And slightly further in, just about here, that's where Lucy Partington's body was found. And directly opposite, right against where the wall would have been, Juanita Mott was found here. Carol Ann Cooper just in front. So I'm now walking through the living room, where the wall is and the church there. This is the very back of the living room just here. And now it's going out into an extension that was built by Fred. This is where the bathroom was, and this is where Linda Goff's body was found. Just beyond that, just outside into the garden, only just, This was the body of Alison Chambers, and directly opposite, so just against the wall, just beyond there, that was where Shirley Robinson's body was found. I'll go down through the garden here. Heather's body was found, this is Heather West, so Fred and Rose's daughter, the one whose discovery of her body started everything off. Her body was found just about here, in this corner of their back garden. So we're talking a total of 9 bodies found inside 25 Cromwell Street. So that was a place I'd wanted to see for many years. I was always a bit, not dubious, a little fearful about doing it. I'd heard the place is meant to be down at heel, it's meant to be rough, they don't like people coming by. I didn't find that at all. A lot of people walked past, nobody thought anything of it. A couple of old people put their rubbish out and looked across to me taking photos, but I mean, you would, wouldn't you? I would say, although it's utterly mundane to look at it, and of course smaller than you'd think, because these things always look so much bigger in pictures, it's probably the most evil place that I've been to since I went to Auschwitz-Birkenau in 2005. Another thing that struck me was just how small the site was. The back garden was the same size as the actual house, and when you're standing on the places where the bodies were found, you just see how small these rooms were. There were lots of tiny box rooms. Only the living room appeared to be of any real size. Of course, there were masses of rooms because it was over several floors. But that was what struck me seeing it. I'm now going to pop to what was the Pop-In. It's now the Clean Plate Cafe, which I know is closed at the moment, but this is where Mary Bastholm used to work and where Fred West used to patronise, and indeed from where she went missing in 1968. So I'm now on Southgate Street, and here we are. This is the Clean Plate Cafe, the clock just above it. This was the Pop-In 1968. I've just spoken to the lady you might be able to see in the window there, cleaning up. She's lovely. Had a very brief chat about the history of the building, but not much. But this is obviously when Mary Bastholm was working in 1968. She wasn't abducted from here, but she disappeared after leaving work, and obviously Fred West used to come in. In May 2021, when Trevor McDonald was doing his documentary, the crew were down in the cellar trying to fix a camera, and they came across what they thought was blue material. And of course the police came in, they dug 6 different areas inside the cellar, and of course they found nothing. Whatever the blue thing was, apparently it was just some detritus. They drilled into a pipe, and it's thought it wasn't even something blue they found. Mary was wearing a blue dress the last time she was seen, and that's what they thought they'd found. But it's just the imaging software picked up something that translated as being blue, and they couldn't find anything at all when they finally finished digging.